Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to see about the education and examination system in the UK. So in this video, I will explain about the teaching methods that they follow in UK, and then the examination system, the courseworks, and then what all the marking system that they have in the UK. So let's get into the video. First, we will see about the schedule and the holidays. For masters, we have 2 semesters and 3 semesters. So the master's course is 1 year duration, and some courses will have 2 semesters and some courses will have 3 semesters. September intake, the semester starts from September or October till December or January, and then they have the exams in January. And then the second semester starts from February till May, and then they have the exams in June, and then they have their dissertation submission in September or August. So for January intake, they have the classes from January till May, and then they have the first semester in June. Some colleges have their first semester in May, and then the second semester starts from June or July, and then there is a break in the July and August, so we say it as a summer break. So after that they will have their semester, and then they will have their exams in December or in January, and then they have a dissertation submission in March. So this is how it functions, and it varies from university to universities. Some universities may have their dissertation submission in February or January, so it depends on the university. And then for bachelors, the same works, but for them the bachelor's will be around 3 years, or bachelor's will be for 4 years with M Engineering. So for them also this is how the system works. Next is the holidays. So we have 3 holidays in the UK. The first is the December Christmas holidays, which will be for around 15 to 20 days. And then there is the Easter holidays, which is for about 20 to 30 days. And then there is the summer holidays, which will be in July and August, so it will be around for 30 to 40 days depending on the universities. There is a regular attendance check for the international students. So for example, you are taking a holiday for 1 week, and then you didn't inform your university about that. Then the university will send you a mail and they will check whether you are fine or not. So if you have any problem, you should send the mail to the university saying that you are having a medical issue or something. Otherwise, if you keep on having holidays for more than 1 week continuously, then the university will intimate to the UK VA office, and the UK VA office will directly get involved into that. So guys, don't take holidays for continuously for 1 week. For example, you can take 1 day in a week or 2 days in a week, but don't bunk the classes like 1 week fully. Then you have to answer your university. Otherwise, if you don't answer them, then they will send a mail to the UK VA, and the UK VA will take action on that. Next is the mode of teaching. So the mode of teaching will be through presentations. So the professors will be having slides, and they will present that to you. That is how they will teach you. And then these lectures will be recorded. So all the lectures will be recorded, and it will be made available to you through the university online portal. Then the slides which they present will be given to you. All the examination questions will be taken from the slides. For example, if your module is having an exam, then all the questions will be taken from the slides, and then they will give you reference books. So you have to take only that book from the library, and you can use that for your examination. And the exams will be very easy, especially for international students. It will be very easy because as an Indian, we have faced a lot of examination in our universities. So this exams is very easy for us. In the class, they will teach only the concepts, so we have to refer to the textbook which they say, and we have to like, for example, they give you a example problem and you have to refer to the textbook for the remaining problems, and you have to do that. For exams, they will give you the topics which they will ask for the exams, so mostly it will be from the slides, so you don't have to refer anything extra. All the topics from the slides, so only they will ask. And if you want to have more detail about that, you can refer the textbook which they say. Some courses will have laboratories, so they will take you to the laboratory and they will teach you the experiments there. The laboratory, you will learn the experiments, and then for examination, mostly 99% you won't have any laboratory oriented exams like practical tests that we have in India. You will have only courseworks, assignments and examinations. You won't have anything like a laboratory oriented examination except for medical students. Next is the evaluation system. So for masters, totally you will have 180 credits, and for undergraduates you will have 120 credits. So for masters, out of 180 you have to take 150 credits. It is actually very easy. You have to for each subjects they will have credits. For example, some subjects will have 15 credits and some subjects will have 30 credits. So you have to take if you are passing the subject, you will get that credit. So that's how you can accumulate the credits. So you have to take 150 credits out of 180 credits. If you are getting less than 150 credits, you won't get your master's degree. You have to resit the exam. Otherwise, if you are failing even after your resits, they will give you postgraduate diploma certificate. For each modules, you will have courseworks and examinations. Some modules you don't have examinations, you will have only courseworks. Some modules you will have majority of exams, like 70% for exams and 30% marks for courseworks. So this is how they do that. For example, for business school, mostly they will have courseworks than exams, and for engineering schools they will have like 70% of exam and 30% of courseworks, and for some subjects they will have 50% of courseworks and 50% of exam, and some subjects you will have like 100% courseworks. So it depends on the course you are in and depends on the university where you are studying. What are these courseworks? These courseworks can be presentations, they can be class test, and then they can be assignments. So presentations, you have to they will give you a topic, you have to go and present to them. It can be a group presentation or a single presentation. And then you will have class test, so it can be like a 60-minute test or a 90-minute test in the class. They will give you a topic and they will give you some small test on that. And then the assignments. Majority of the courseworks will have assignments. So assignment is something that you have to do research and write. For assignments, they will give you a topic. So let's say they will give you analysis of the stock market. So you have to go and do the analysis, and then you have to say how the analysis has been done before and what type of approach did you take, and what is the outcome of the analysis. So this is how they will ask you. They will give you a sheet. So in that sheet, they will tell what are the points that they expect from you and what is the mark for each point that you cover. So they will give you the total explanation of the marks and how you have to do the coursework. It is very easy, but keep in mind, you shouldn't do plagiarism. So plagiarism is something that you are copy pasting something from the web and you're directly putting it in your document. So the assignments will be 3000 words or 5000 words depending on the weightage of the marks. So let's say the assignment is 3000 words and you are copy pasting something from the web and pasting in it. Then you are uploading the assignment for submission in your university portal. So when you upload, it will automatically scan and it will show you how much you have plagiarized. For example, you have copied 30% of the content from somewhere else and you have pasted it there, then the system will show 30% plagiarized. So keep in mind guys, you don't plagiarize, because plagiarism is a very big offense in UK and you can be detained for that. So don't plagiarize. Always when you want to do write some other's content, you just paraphrase it, like you remake the sentence, like don't write the exact sentence, you change the sentence and write, and you give the credit for the person who has written that. So in the end of the line, you just put in bracket the person's name or the article from which you took and the year of that article, and then give the reference in the last section. So I will detailedly tell you about plagiarism in another video. So this is how plagiarism works. So don't plagiarize for your assignments and any other things, for thesis, everything. Plagiarism is the main factor that they will look into. When it comes to exams, they are similar to what we have in India. So they are similar to the Indian examination system. You will have 2 marks and 5 marks, and depending on that you will be like having 50 mark subjects. So you have to write for 50 marks for like around 1 hour or 2 hours. Otherwise you will have 100 marks, so you will write for 2 hours or 3 hours, depending on the weightage of the mark that the subject have. You will be having that. So I'm saying the weightages. Sometimes you will have 30% for examinations, 70% for coursework. So if you're getting like 70 marks in the coursework and 50 marks in the exam, so they will add that using the weightage, and you will be evaluated for 100 marks for that module. If you get 70% and above, you will be recorded as first class or distinction. If you get 60% and above, you will be recorded as upper second class or 2:1. If you get more than 50%, you will be recorded as lower second class, or it's just pass. So if you want to pass in a subject, you should take 50%. So it's not like in India, we have to take 50% of this mark in the subject. So it's a combination of courseworks and examinations. For some subjects it will be only courseworks, and for some subjects it will be only examination. So however it is, you have to take 50% of the total mark. So if you take 50%, you will be regarded as pass in that subject. If you fail in a subject, for example, you take less than 50% and you are considered as fail, then you will be given a period of time within which you can reapply for that examination. For example, you fail in the June exam, so within July or August you have to reapply for the examination. Sometimes if you have some mitigating circumstances, for example you have some medical conditions so that you couldn't attend the exam, you can mail your professor with your medical certificate and everything, so that they will allow you to resit for the examination. There is a difference between normally failing and sitting for the exam and having a medical condition and sitting for the exam. So if you're normally failing a exam and you're sitting again, your mark will be capped for 50%. So whatever marks you take, let's say in the re-exam you are taking 70% for 100, they will give you only 50%, because if you take 50%, that's the passing mark, so they will cap to that. But if you're having mitigating circumstances and you are having any medical problems, if you inform that, then they will give you, if you're taking 70%, they will give you the total 70%. They won't cap the mark. So always keep in mind guys, if you fail, then you won't get the distinction, because distinction is 70% and above. So if you're failing, you can't get the distinction. So if you're failing and resitting an exam, you can only get merit, or you will get only the lower second class. So always keep that in mind. You can resit only for 2 times. So if you're failing in June, then you can resit for the first time in August, and for the second time in October or November, depending on the university. So these are the 2 times that you can resit. So even after that, if you fail, you will be considered as fail in that subject, and you won't get the credit of the subject. So always plan to take at least a minimum of 150 credits out of 180 credits. Everyone can take 180 credits, it's very easy, but plan to take 150 credits out of 180 credits. This is how the education system and the examination system works in UK. So the main point is, don't take leave for more than 1 week from your course. So if you're taking continuously for 1 week, just inform your professor or someone so that you don't get mail from your university, because if you're taking more than 1 week, as I said before, the university has to inform to the UKVA if they don't get any response from you. So don't do that. And always keep in mind, take 150 credits out of 180 credits for your masters. So if you take less than that, you won't get your master's degree and you won't get your PSW. Keep in mind, only if you get your master's degree, you will get your PSW. And for bachelor's, you have to take 100 credits out of 120. And if you don't take that, you won't get your PSW. So these are the main points that you have to take from this video. I hope this video was useful for you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the like button. We will meet in next video. Until then, goodbye, cheers.